Library Connection. I'm Tracey Thomas, Director at the B.B. Comer Library, and I want to thank you so much for joining us today to hear about some great programs that we're really excited to be bringing back to the Comer Library. Before we get started today, I have to make sure to say a special thank you here to the TV station for always being so willing to allow us an outlet to share the good things that we're doing with our community. So thank you to all the wonderful people that work with us and put up with us and try to make us look good on the camera and help us get the word out. Thank you so much. Today, our special guest is Dr. Shirley Spears, and we always get tickled when we do our programs together. We always end up wearing the same color, and we kind of match each other. So these are not planned outfits. But I want to thank you, Dr. Spears, for coming on today and being with us. And it's that time of the year again. We have another brown bag series coming up, and we are really excited about the brown bag programs and being able to bring those to you again, because we were sidelined for so long with COVID and just the situation in the world. And so we've had one series under our belt. We were able to put into place some things that we think are safeguards that make everybody feel safe when they come into the building. And so we're excited to be able to do another round of brown bag.
I think it's amazing, Tracey, that you were able to transform the auditorium into, quote, a safe place to be, because it seems very safe to me with the tables up and the social distance and of course the lack of eating together. That, you know, so many of the things we loved we gave up, but you know, we're giving up a lot of things for the last couple of years, and so I'm just giddy about being able to have programs again, because people everywhere talk about how they miss them and how much they like them and how much they'd like to see them back. So I just appreciate you and the staff moving the world to make it happen that last session, and I thought it was quite successful.
Well, thank you. You know, when you do a program and it has to go away for a while or take a hiatus, if nobody ever asks about it, nobody ever misses it, you wonder, does it have any value? And so pleasantly, we were very surprised when Brown Bag was on hiatus that we had so many people ask and say, you know, we missed the programs. We're ready to come back to the library. We're ready to get out and hear some good stuff again. And so we feel like that was our justification for going ahead and moving forward and bringing them back.
I think so. I can remember over the years, the last program, we always had people go out the door saying, I wish you had them all year, or what are we going to do till the next one starts? So there, you know, there kind of is a dearth of things in Sylacauga for adults. We put a lot of emphasis on our youth, as we should, but not too terribly many things for a man and a woman, a wife and a husband to get out and go and see other friends and get together, not cost a penny, have a good time, have fellowship and fun together. So I think the Brown Bag series has, since 1994, it's a long time.
It's a
long time. But it's filled a niche in our community, and it has been worth doing, and we've been lucky enough to find people like First Bank of Alabama to help us do it. So having said all that, I'll get right on to speak about the title a minute, Reflecting the Past, Celebrating the Future. And I thought about that title, Reflecting, and I thought, does that need the word on in there? And I thought, no, I don't mean reflecting on the past or thinking deeply about the past. I mean mirroring the past for people to sort of look at, take a look at what's happened, and then to think about, because of what happened then, we are able to celebrate the future and look forward to better times, more humane times, more prosperous times, I believe, are coming. And part of that is because of the things that happened back before our time even, that changed the world and made it a better place and continues to do so. The first program with Lee Sintel, who is the Alabama Tourism Director, was a very special thing for me to be able to schedule. Lee is from Clay County, Ashland, I believe, and he graduated Auburn University, so what a great combination. And during the years that he's been at tourism, he has transformed Alabama's tourism. It has gone into billions and billions of dollars under his leadership. He's been able to point out to the world that Alabama is a good place to visit and a good place to live. But I did notice that he had a book called Civil Rights Trail, What Happened Here Changed the World. This came out recently. He's been going around and promoting his book lately. And I think that says a lot about Lee, that he's the person, that Civil Rights Trail, he started the first one in Alabama, probably where it should start. But they're all over the country now with those sites, and he is the one that was chosen to write. This is the official book on the trail itself. It's quite beautiful. It has a lot of familiar sites and good pictures in it, and I'm really glad that Lee decided that he would come to Sylacauga. He's very busy. But looking back on his Year of the Food, and Year of the Arts, and the Year of Music, and showcasing Alabama in so many diverse ways, I'm so proud of him, and he's such a great guy, so helpful to other people, and he has seen to it that the library and the book and the Marble Festival had showcasing and grants, and so Lee's just been wonderful to Sylacauga. He really has.
And you know, we've just coming off the bicentennial celebration, and Lee was such a big part of that, and so many things that he helped see about for that. So you kind of think, well, maybe he's going to take a little break and kind of be dormant for a while, but no, he's jumped right back in, and that's great to see. He
is a very, very busy person who does take the entire state into consideration, and I guess we have one of the most diverse states in the nation with our beautiful beaches and our wonderful mountains and all that, and he's just capitalized so wonderful on it. So I think you'll want to see Lee, come out to see him. I think he would feel very respected and loved if he could have a good turnout for him to come to Sylacauga to do a program, so I think that would be great. Now, of course, you know, when we get a chance, we move to Dr. Wayne Flint. And with Dr. Flint, I just take Dr. Flint anytime I can get him. And since he has retired, he does do a little bit more outreach. He writes an awful lot. He has a book coming out, I guess, pretty soon on Evenings with Harper Lee, where he talks about he and his wife visiting her when she was in care in Monroeville during the last years of her life. But he is very present in almost anything that happens out there in the literary or the historical world. And he has been called the conscience of Alabama, the voice of Alabama. He writes fearlessly about things that he feels strongly about. So I just have the greatest love and respect for Dr. Flint, and our entire library staff does. So I noticed that he came out with a new article on Mary Ward Brown, who is a writer extraordinaire, an older lady from a place called Brown, Alabama, down in, I believe it's Perry County. But when I saw that he had written about Mary Ward Brown, and I knew that he and his wife were friends with her for a very long time, I thought, well, I'd really like for Wayne to tell her story, because you mentioned Mary Ward Brown, and those of us who did read Alabama in the 80s is when she really hit big. We all know about her extraordinary writing and her short stories and how she talks about Southern life, and she faces head on the problems that we have, and in such a wonderful way she writes great stories. So I thought, you know, I think people would start reading Mary Ward Brown again. She died not too terribly long ago at a very old age. So I thought that it would be good to have Wayne to come in and tell her story. Come to find out, he and his wife visited her also for years and had a great relationship with her. She sort of has roots in Auburn also. So I think people will enjoy the Mary Ward Brown's stories. And I think that I'm sure the library has the books, and if they don't, we certainly can get them. They're still in print. So I'd like for people to come and hear him talk about a great writer that's not so widely known. She's known well in Russia and other countries of the world, and she's known in the literary world. So we want the people of Sylacauga to, the ones that don't, to sort of back up and read her and think about how wonderful this woman from a town that had 200 and some people in it. She lived in a very small town most of her life. I want you to come and hear Wayne. He's a great deal of fun just to listen to. Mm-hmm. And he usually draws a big crowd just based on the fact that everybody knows he knows what he's talking about. Mm-hmm.
And I always say this, and I say it again, the reason that we're able to get these presenters of this magnitude, Lee Centel, Dr. Wayne Flint, the reason we're able to get people like this to come to our series is because of you, Dr. Spears, because people know your credibility. They know the kind of program that you're going to put together. They know when they come it's going to be well advertised. There's going to be an audience there to greet them. And I know the last time Dr. Flint was here for the last series, he seemed like he had such a good time.
He did.
He seemed like he really enjoyed being out and seeing people, and just good to be back in Sylacauga again. So we're looking forward to having him back.
Well, you know, it's been 94, that is a long time to have the brown bags. And as much as I'd like to take the credit for it, because I have loved it and worked with it, but the staff has always been so engaged and so interested in it because of the feedback they get from the public. But I think the audience is so well known throughout the state. And if a presenter comes to Sylacauga and they enjoy the hospitality and the warmth of the audience, the interest in a small town that needs programs and enjoys them, I think the word has spread over the years that Sylacauga is a great place to go. You know, they've got people and they might not even agree with what you're presenting, but they're willing to come and listen, and they're always nice and their questions are insightful and thoughtful. And so I think the audience is a great part of that. We're very proud of those people that come out.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to hear about the rest of the programs in this series.
Get your college career off to a rapid start at Central Alabama Community College in Talladega. That's right, in just 4 semesters, you can receive your associate's degree and be ready to start your career. Smaller classes and one-on-one instruction provide our students with the best college experience. Don't take our word for it. Come see us at 1009 South Street in Talladega. Log on to cacc.edu or call 480-2068 to get started today. Spring semester begins January 10th. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our knowledgeable pharmacists are always available for questions about your medications or advice on taking over-the-counter products and supplements. Our friendly staff can assist you in choosing from our full lines of compression hose and medical equipment. And don't forget our gift department. We have a great selection of unique gifts for every occasion. Stop by and see us today. Marble City Pharmacy, here for life.
Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Sylacauga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room to surgery to cancer treatment to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Sylacauga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
Welcome back to the Library Connection. I'm Tracey Thomas, Director at the B.B. Comer Library, and today we're talking with Dr. Shirley Spears, and it's time for Brown Bag to start back again. And Dr. Spears, we always appreciate you coming on, but more than just coming on and talking about it, I want to say, for people that may not understand the relationship that Dr. Spears still has with the library, she runs our library foundation, and so one of the roles that I appreciate her so much for being willing to continue to do is to continue to book these brown bag programs, because we do have people that come because she calls them. We just mentioned that a while ago, and I want to just thank you again for all that you do to make this series happen, because
I appreciate it, Tracy. I enjoy it, you know.
It's a labor of love, I know.
It is.
I know it is.
It is.
And so we also want to thank First Bank of Alabama for being willing to continue to be our sponsor for this series. It means so much, and we appreciate all the people that reached out to the bank after the last series and just thanked them for it and made it known how much they appreciate having these programs in Sylacauga. So the next program that we have will be on Wednesday, February the 16th, and we're excited about this. We always like to have some music involved in our lineup, because that kind of breaks up things a little bit. It lightens the mood, and we are excited because we're going to get to have Patrick Barnett and Tina Marie come. For those of you that may know Patrick Barnett is from here in Sylacauga. His mom teaches at Comer. His dad, Buddy's from Sylacauga. They're a Comer family all the way around. So we're real excited to have him come. He was in the band, and Patrick was always just musically inclined, you know, a very talented student. And it's exciting to see his career the way it has taken off. If you ever get on Facebook at all, you probably see, you know, Patrick Barnett's music page, and he just is performing all over the place, and, you know, was on the Kalijah Idol, and we're just excited that he's a student at Jacksonville in nursing, but he's going to take time to come be with us and do this program with Tina.
Well, I'm so glad. I didn't know about Patrick. I was excited to learn about him, because I do think we try to have a music program and then a storytelling program, and you're right, it does brighten up and lighten up. And, you know, we love the history programs and we love the literature programs, but we also like to have something for everyone. And, you know, that's always been our little motto. And so I was so glad that Tracey knew about Patrick and his relationship with the town and his immense talent. And sometimes with young people like Patrick, you'd better get them when you can, because later you may not can get them. And of course, he's singing with Tina Marie Hosey. And Tina Marie, Roger Vines introduced me to Tina, and she came in and did a program with that Songwriter Showcase. And oh, she just has a fabulous voice, and Of course, she's funny and witty, and so she is very famous, I guess is the word, renowned for her Patsy Cline songs and her Remember Patsy and all the different things that she does. So Tina is talented, she really is, and I'm not surprised too much that she and Patrick might have teamed up a little bit, because I can see where that would be a powerful thing to see two people that good together.
It was a combination I'd never thought about, and one night several months ago I happened to be on Facebook and I saw they were doing a live performance from one of the local venues here, and I just thought, what a great combination. You know, you wouldn't put the two together normally. I would never have thought of them in the same venue, but gosh, they sounded great together.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a great experience for us as well as for the audience to have Patrick and Tina Marie to come in for us. And maybe one of these days we'll have a series that's all music, some sort of history tied into it, but all music. But anyway, it's a lot of fun to have music, and I look forward to it. And of course, we're going into a rather heavy subject next. Not so heavy either. In a way, if you look back at the pictures of the women who work so hard for the vote, in today's world, they're almost funny. You've got this women started over, and I told Ted, I said, I can't believe that Chilton County and Wetumpka and places like that were involved to start with in, gosh, the late 1890s, and starting to look toward women the vote. And then I read a little further, and one of the reasons that many people were interested was because of the temperance movement. They were trying to get people to quit drinking liquor. And there was an element of child welfare tied in, and all the things that do go with excessive drinking and the evils of drinking. So women got really involved in that sort of thing. Not to try to tell Alex's story, because Alex Coven's going to tell the story, but it did start that way. And then later, women started to realize, and of course Birmingham and Mobile and big towns were the seat of these clubs and organizations that really moved getting the vote for women forward. But they realized that they would not be able to do other things like temperance or things they were interested in unless they could vote. So lots of opposition from males, against the women vote, because they thought, quote, the woman's place was in the home to keep the warmth and the comfort there, and they were supposed to do the voting and make the decision. So you have that kind of funny now backdrop there, with women having moved forward and helping make the living and doing all the things that women do. Alex Coven's specialty actually is Indian history, Creek Indian history, and she has been several times for us to do that, and she's a good presenter. She's
a very good presenter. When she came before, we were pleasantly surprised that she is one of those that she doesn't have to depend so heavily on her notes. She knows her subject matter well, and she can just do a program, because she knows it and she's researched it. She's really good. She was Catherine Brom's doctoral student, another hero of ours. And Catherine always told me that Alex was so smart and she would go far. And so she moved on down to Archives and History, and she's the program's curator there now. And has a very responsible job. She's married. Back when she first came, she was still single and young, but I think she does a really good job, and she is the person to do women's suffrage, because she was in charge of the exhibits during the year that they celebrated, I think it was 2020, and they celebrated women's rights and suffrage and getting the vote and all the different things that women have achieved. And so Alex was in charge of all the exhibits for that, and she came out, Scotty Kirkland there, who is there and does programs for us, also said that they just couldn't have made it through all of that without her, that she was so knowledgeable and so good with what she researched and put together for the Archives and History there. So I'm excited about getting the best person available to do that. She's definitely a great find to add to our presenters lineup. I think the title, Justice Not Favor, in other words, it wasn't any favor to give women the vote, it was justice. So I like her thinking on that, and I think she's right on the money. But anyway, she's very good. We're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the last program in this series and a few other details that people may need to know.
Get your college career off to a rapid start at Central Alabama Community College in Talladega. That's right, in just 4 semesters, you can receive your associate's degree and be ready to start your career. Smaller classes and one-on-one instruction provide our students with the best college experience. Don't take our word for it. Come see us at 1009 South Street in Talladega. Log on to cacc.edu or call 480-2068 to get started today. Spring semester begins January 10th. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our knowledgeable pharmacists are always available for questions about your medications or advice on taking over-the-counter products and supplements. Our friendly staff can assist you in choosing from our full lines of compression hose and medical equipment. And don't forget our gift department. We have a great selection of unique gifts for every occasion. Stop by and see us today. Marble City Pharmacy, here for life.
Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Sylacauga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room to surgery to cancer treatment to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Sylacauga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
Welcome back to the Library Connection. Today we're talking with Dr. Shirley Spears, and we're talking about our upcoming Adult Brown Bag Lecture Series, and we're so excited to be able to do another one. This one is, of course, sponsored by First Bank of Alabama, and we appreciate them so much for their continued support. And this is Reflecting the Past, Celebrating the Future. And we always try to wrap our programs up with a very special storytelling session, and it wouldn't be the same if we did not end with Dolores Hydock.
We're so fortunate. Dolores has given us the last program in the 2 series every year for years. She just likes the audience in Sylacauga. She knows how much they adore her, and people come actually from, about a 40 or 50 mile radius to see Dolores because she does a lot of ticketed events in Birmingham. But she comes for us and gives us a very reasonable price to entertain our audience, and we're so grateful. And to give you an idea of her immense talent, she has all kind of spreadsheets and records, and she knows exactly every story she's ever told in Sylacauga. She goes to great pains to bring new stories to us. Occasionally I'll say, Dolores, it's been 10 years since you told us some story. Red-headed woman meets Mr. Death or something, and can you do it again for us? So she'll do a repeat every once in a while at my specific request, but most of the time I send her a text, and I give her the title of our series. And I say, you think about it, and what do you have that might fit with what we're trying to do with this series? And she's very thoughtful about what she decides to tell, the way maybe she'll tell 2 stories, or maybe she'll just tell 1 long story. But Dolores does try very hard to accommodate us on sort of staying with our theme. So I sent her this Reflecting the Past and Celebrating the Future, and she gave me a couple of choices. And one of them was, look carefully or you'll miss it, stories about finding the beauty in the everyday. And I thought that sounded like such a good thing for us now, with the 2 years of looking hard for beauty and seeing a lot of sadness and a lot of isolation and the things that we've been through in this town and in this country. And I thought that sounds like something that might be a lot of fun to hear Dolores do. So she was excited about telling those stories, and she's got 2 or 3 stories that she'll tell about different people and different encounters in life and how that people found beauty in the everyday. So I thought that sounded like a really good thing for her. She is an actress, storyteller. She makes her living doing this, and she exclusively devotes her life to ferreting out good stories, and many of them will surprise you at what she can do with a good historical story. But I encourage everybody, the people who've seen Dolores will come back if they can. If you haven't seen Dolores, you've missed the best storyteller that I've ever seen. And so I encourage everybody to come out and help us wrap up the series. And I think it's very important that Tracey and the staff have made special accommodations and gone to the extra miles to see that you enjoy this series. So Tracey, I know that you want the opportunity to talk a minute about that.
Well, I just want to let people know that we have gone to great lengths to try to make sure that everybody feels safe and feels welcome at the same time. One of the parts that we love about Brown Bags so much has always been the reception part ahead of time, and the meeting and greeting and the eating together. But we do have to keep that, you know, off the table for now. We hope we're going to bring that back one day because that's one of our favorite parts. So the room, the auditorium where the program actually happens, will open at 11:30. We want for you to come, go ahead and find you a seat. We will have the tables set up, so you will actually eat your sandwich or whatever it is that you bring to enjoy in the auditorium, in the program room. You'll have a table, and we will thank you to Coosa Valley Medical Center, Hickory Street Cafe. We'll be giving out those fresh baked cookies at the door and a bottle of water. So you bring a sack lunch or just a snack, whatever it is you would like to enjoy while you're there, and we'll provide the drink and the dessert, which was always the original design of the series in the beginning. So we've just kind of gone back to the roots and pushed reset on that. But again, the auditorium will open at 11:30. Come in, bring you a sack lunch, take a seat, eat in the auditorium. You can wear a mask if you would when you come into the room. Feel free to take it off once you sit down. We just want everybody to feel safe. We're going to try to, you know, get as many people in there as we can, but obviously with the tables set up, you know, our space will probably be somewhat limited. Based on the series that we had last time, we can get about 100 people in there, and that's a really good crowd.
It is.
So we do have some seats around the back of the room. Not all are at tables, but they are still, we're trying to keep everybody safe.
I think it's an amazing feat to transform that auditorium into seating with tables. And I'll have to say, as many years as I've worked with that facility, I didn't realize really that we could quite get that many people in with them sitting with some distance between them. So I was amazed that, you know, sometimes we had bigger crowds than others, always depending on the topic, of course. And of course, I think people too had to kind of feel it out and see.
Ease back into things.
Yeah, ease back into it and see, is this really somewhere I want to be? Do I really feel safe here? And I'll have to say that I've been very careful for a couple of years. Ted and I both have, but wearing masks and so forth. But I felt very safe.
Well, I will say too, before we wrap the show up today, that we are making efforts to stream our programs to the internet.
Yeah.
We have a Facebook page. You can go to our Facebook page and you will see the link on there to the YouTube. And it will be a live stream of it. So you can make a comment on there and ask a question. We will be monitoring that. So we're still trying to be very thoughtful for the people that are not yet ready to come out.
And it stays up about a week.
It stays up about a week. And so we're excited to be able to offer that. You see the program there, just scroll by so you can get those dates again. Dr. Spears, thank you as always for coming on to do this and for booking these programs for us.
I enjoyed that too.
So-
I always like getting in touch with people. So thank you, Tracey, for your opportunities that you offer me to stay involved.
Thank you. We appreciate you. And again, we appreciate the TV station here for letting us get the word out about what we're doing. But thank you so much for being here and for showing up at these programs.